Okay, for me, when I want to grow up, I have two things, but I haven't decided yet. A journalist and a footballer.
Even I have two things, a doctor or a singer.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. If I'm not going to be a doctor, I will be a nurse.
When I grow up, I want to be a chef. If I cannot be a chef, I will be a barber.
I want to be a footballer when I grow up.
I want to be a doctor.
CBC in Kenya has brought quite a lot of changes in education. In our times, we used to focus on subjects that are brought for us to do. And you have to do them. And sometimes when you get a job or you go to college, you might not even pick something that will go together with the subjects you did. Sometimes parents could even pick something that a child did not go for it in school or did not learn about it. But for CBC, what I'm seeing is that they are beginning to take a child from right away from what the child can become for in life professionally. So it helps a student or a child to realize, or parents and even teachers, to find out this child is best in what thing. It is giving them, bringing out knowledge for parents to realize my child is doing best in this part.
When you look at the CBC, of course CBC found us already, but one of the key things in CBC is you need to identify and nurture talent. So one of the things we are looking at, for instance, the issues of career, we've seen here in Kenya, people start talking about career after they are done with high school, at the point of choosing university choices, at the point of choosing the university courses. That's when people start calling or running around asking, now which course should I choose? But for us, we believe this discussion should start as early as grade 1, so that at least a parent has an idea where the child is talented, where they are good at, what careers they should have. And you see, once we start that early, we can even organize mentorship along the way. We can organize career talks. Like for instance, we had the doctors coming in from Gertrude's Children's Hospitals talking to us. And I believe a number of children here, even you saw in other interviews, they were saying they want to be doctors. Maybe they were inspired when they saw a doctor coming all the way here. So that's one of the things we want to do differently from other schools. We want the parent to think about what career, and probably beyond there is how they can support these children to achieve that career. It's a whole chain. It cannot just be like the teachers alone. It cannot be the parents alone in isolation. Neither can it be the directors alone. So we all have to work together as a team. A child cannot be a jack of all trades. And one thing that we have seen, there are children who are very good on the practical aspects. In sports and games, they are very good. But you might find they are not mathematical. So you find this child is getting an A in home science. Probably we need to have that mind shift that instead of insisting that these children must become a genius in math, why can't we nurture this talent in home science so that maybe they'll become chefs when they grow up? The children who are good at art, why can't we nurture them to pursue a career along the art and make money from art? Because people have made good money from art, people have made good money from music. So that's the kind of conversation we need to look at, that okay, there are these 7 competencies. So in which competencies is your child doing well? And now how can we nurture that competence so that it can bring in money later on? So once we start having that discussion early, then even the thinking of the parent will shift. Otherwise, most of the parents will just want to look at what is the score. And we have moved away from there.
The students we are teaching, nothing is good as having such a students, because when we interact with the students, we learn a lot from them, because they do share whatever the experience that they are having, and as from our profession, we have what we call learning to learn. More so, we learn more from the students, because whatever is being taken at home and whatever they are doing from the society, from the practicals, from the online, they come and share. When we came from the college, most of the teachers, from the theory parts, when it comes to practical, you get that whatever you were taught is different from whatever you're getting from these learners, because they are exposed. Because as teacher, maybe you are just on class, sometimes you're just thinking about the learners, but for them, when they go out, they have exposure. They normally teach us a lot. More so, me, I'm happy with them, because being in Nairobi with the ghetto life, I learn more from them.
Because in 844, because everything is from the heart, the syllabus is in your fingertips. You just walk in class and sing. But now this one, you must sit down. You must put in 2 to 3 hours of writing notes, thinking through activities. So you don't just rush to class and start talking. Again, the idea of involving the students, asking questions. Because previously you did not have to ask questions. The only question you'd ask is, are we together? They would obviously say yes. Yeah, they would obviously say yes, and then you would move on. So now I think I've really been challenged to come out of my comfort zone, to keep learning, and I'm also looking forward to enrolling to one of these colleges so that I can get something specialized on CBC. Now for policymakers, the elephant in the room is the resources. Yes, the resources, because this is a resource-intensive kind of a curriculum. Like now, for you to do the digital thing, you need Wi-Fi. It comes at a cost. For you to do home science, there are things you need to bring at home, and you know, parents are complaining that we keep asking, we never stop asking for material. So in a way, it is very intensive in terms of resources. So if a budget can be set aside probably to support the resources, that may really help a lot. And then again, in terms of the training, I believe for us the implementation was not done so well. In terms of the curriculum was rolled out, the designs were rolled out, but teachers were never prepared. So this is something that was just pushed down their throats that, okay, CBC starts today, let's go. They were not ready for it, and there's also a misconception, especially among the teachers. They say that CBC is very easy. In fact, some of them tend to go back to the 844 books because they are detailed, they have a lot of theory, a lot of content. And you see that when you focus on the content, then you miss out on the core competencies. So again, even for the teachers now, they need to retool themselves and move away from the content.
I don't know. 5-0.
I've come to realize that CBC, as we roll out, it's very much fulfilling and it's enhancing. Why? As I've said, I've already discovered what my daughter is competent about in at grade 4. So already I've known as we grow, I'm providing what is supportive in that area to ensure that she achieves that. Unlike the other system that I'm also a teacher, you find that it was burdensome. To burden learners with subjects that are not enhancing. At the end of it all, for example, a learner is good at football. He's just a football player. However much you heap chemistry and mathematics to this learner, he just remains a footballer, you see that? And there are those ones who are doing very well as footballers out here, like Kolunga and so on. So suppose this competence was discovered earlier. This learner, this individual would have done much better. Much hopeful, and I'm praying and involving to ensure that my children achieve the best. They achieve the best, basing on their competence and their ability. So you cannot stretch beyond. You have different abilities, basing also on the competencies. That yes, but I hope my children achieve the best in the education setup, and I believe by my involvement of the teacher, and by the grace of God, he'll achieve that.
We believe we are bringing up a good generation, a generation that has a set of values, a generation that will be ready to go into the world, into the real world. Because remember, the theory, the academics is totally different from the real world. So for us, we want to prepare our kids to go into the real world. And I know 10, 20 years from now, that's when we shall really feel the impact of what we are doing now.